Okay, Gemini, this is your reading for March. The energy is picking up already. We are first week of March, so I hope this finds you very soon. Even if you find this towards the end of the month, I find readings really important as well for reflection hacks. So you can go back and reflect on if these themes played out for you. So I really like readings at the start of the month to bring into awareness some interesting themes. But then as that energy plays out, it's really nice to go back over, re-listen to it, or go over your notes around it so that you can see how those energies and those cards played out for you. Particularly if you're learning tarot or oracle deck readings and things like that. It's really important to both learn your cards and the themes around it, the knowledge, many different versions of each card, and then go back over how that energy played out for you. So that's why journaling while you're learning is really important, and staying in touch with the energy so that you can understand next time that card comes out, next time that reading feels something similar, you can understand from your own personal experience how that energy's played out for you. And then you can bank wisdom, right? We want to bank wisdom around your intuition, because we are talking to spirit here, and it's really important that we don't just talk to spirit like, hey, give me the answer, hey, give me the answer, hey, send me some love, hey, send me some protection. If we treated someone in our lives like that, it would feel very demanding, wouldn't it? I believe it's best to work with the alchemy of the questions burning in our heart space can send a signal out for information regarding the question. So as these energies play out for you, we want to feel like we're in a divine matrix with spirit all the time. It's not about us getting answers here. Reading isn't in 3 months' time, you'll get this exact timeline. I think it needs to be a conversation with your higher self, my guides, your guides, our egos as well, our higher selves and spirit, all collaborating for the interesting energy and information that's about to be found by you at a certain time stand, so that we can go deeper into our intuitive feeds, right? We're always sparking our multidimensional selves. So that in this moment, there's a lot of 3D information happening. There's a lot of 5D stuff happening too. The Heart Emperor plane is in the middle. We have all sorts of energy around us, and we just want to know through a reading, we just want to know more. We're just open for more. And you probably know from your own personal experiences that you ask for more, and then you maybe decide that you weren't ready. And that's cool too. So let's open it up and see what we have for you, my dear Geminis, around what March might present you with and how you can think about that energy later as it plays out for you. So we'll do a 3-card story, and then we'll back it up with a shadow card. The shadow card comes in as a completely different dimension to bring it all together. And shadow cards can often act as not even a warning, it's heads up. This part might illuminate during the month, and that's what I'll get to. If you notice this uncomfortable part of what you weren't actually in consciousness with come through, that's the shadow aspect. And it's so much better to know before it comes through, so that you go, oh, there it is. And that could just be something in your environment that triggers that animal or the association, or you're watching a documentary or something like that. That's when we know spirit's saying, oh, remember that message you got? Now it's time to actualize it. First part of this story, 5 of Cups. So whether you're reading tarot or not, you can just read what it looks like to you. So we are looking at the things that haven't worked out. We are looking at the things that haven't been comfortable to address. You may have had to walk away from things. You may have had to create something and then decide it's out of alignment for you, it is going to represent a tortured ego state, which means you are going to cry over it. It's going to be difficult for you to let go of. But what spirit is also signaling to us is that whatever you have to let go of is not the whole story. You do actually have plenty of emotional and spiritual nourishment behind you that will back you up. So this could be 3 situations or a few situations in your life where you are saying that didn't work out. I'm going to have to distance myself. I'm going to have to stop doing this. Maybe you committed to something and you can't see it through. Maybe some new friends or loved ones or associates came into your life and you realize it's not going to work out. But it's not the whole story. You haven't lost everything. So however that makes sense for you, please remind yourself that letting go and change is necessary right now. And if you are letting go of something, please emote. So please use your emotions and pull them out of your body. We want the tears with the cortisol release. We want the dancing, the sighing, the singing out of the emotions so that you can then rebalance, regulate, and go towards, well, what do I have left? What have I still got? What still represents my emotional and spiritual nourishment right now? You know, whatever the loss is necessary. That's what Spirit's saying. Trust it. We can trust it and still not like it. We can trust it and still feel uncomfortable. We can trust it and surrender to it, even though there's loss. Please allow yourself to experience grief. Grief comes through to signal to you that you are actually letting go of something. Sometimes it's a part of yourself. Sometimes it's a person, a place, an environment, a version of yourself that isn't working out, a part of you that is now so outdated and you're so over it that it has to go. And you might be surprised that when you let go of it, you do experience sadness. Don't avoid the sadness. Experience it, right? It's not going to last forever. Grief never does, but you will turn it into a very more pronounced and difficult state if you resist. I've seen a lot of people avoid and resist grief in their lives. It has this particular alchemy in the body that if you resist against it and it's not even stress. If you deny its wisdom, it turns into this hyper reactive state that starts to meddle and play on all your insecurities and all your disempowering habits. Addictions go mental. But if we just sit in grief, and I sit in the surrender of, I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm feeling sad today. I'm in grief. Something's changed. I've let go of something. And I allow it in my life. I adjust my schedule accordingly. And I say, okay, well, whatever this is, I'm going into it. I trust my body. My body has more wisdom and higher knowing than my mind does. That's fact. So if it's grieving, I let it. Also in Chinese medicine, which is my background, if we don't grieve, the lungs suffer. If your lungs are congested, if you've got prolonged coughs, if you have an infection, pneumonia, whatever it is, a virus in the lungs, sinus problems, whatever that is, that sadness and that grief is trying to express itself and we're keeping it down. That could be you not slowing down to close off the chapter. That could be you just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Also, whatever can't be let go of through the large intestine, through the digestion and back to the earth, if it can't go out that pathway because you're controlling all of your emotions, you're hanging on to everything that you don't like, you're literally not letting go of your shit, then your lungs will have to express what your bowel can't. See? And then we will get a congested heart space, right? And the body naturally goes through ebbs and flows of symptoms. There's nothing wrong with this, but if you're noticing that it's stubborn, or you've taken the antibiotics and you've taken all the remedies and it's not budging, we have to look at what you're not letting go of. because otherwise the body will signal to you, I can't hold this for you. I can't keep on holding this for you. You're going to have to understand it, emote through it, and actually let the emotions out of your body, which will come with the divine insights. Don't deny the insights. The insights could be, actually, I didn't realize how painful that was and how difficult it was for me, right? The cracking open, the tears, that place that we avoid. But get a support system around you, go to that place and pull yourself up off the ground, right? We go into the pain and the torment and the grief and the sorrow and the loss, and we're a blubbering mess on the floor. And then we want that experience where part of you goes, okay, it's time to get up, right? Life goes on. Nature reminds us that life goes on. The sun doesn't have a day off. It always rises for us. It always brings us energy. So therefore, we can be that within ourselves. Because if we manage to identify what we've come through, what we're letting go of, and take the loss, which means it's not ideal, we're not moving forward, that's fine, take the loss, we can go into balance. This is a big card. This actually relates to our inner knowing of cause and effect, that our actions have consequences. So if our actions have consequences, we have to hold accountability for that, right? Now, this difficult work will pay off, because when you see the next card, you'll understand. But justice is it can be a sharp hitting card, which says, cut the bullshit. You're in this situation because of the actions and the choices that you took. Those actions and choices have consequences, which leads you to the place that you're in now. But if you understand fully what that means, the universe will balance itself around you. Balance is what we want, but for a lot of people, the balance that comes with self-responsibility, accountability, is avoided at all costs. So Gemini, I know you like to weigh things up. I know you like to discuss all options. I know you like to be that air. And justice is helping you with that. Let's make sure that we have that clean center. Weigh it up, understand it from all parameters. I want you to know the ins and outs of your loss, because look what's coming if you do. Union, connection, balance. And not just balance like balance in your daily life. This is balance with people. How hard is this to achieve these days? This card does represent harmony and balance and connection with those around you. It does actually denote that. Now, let's not be super gender specific here, but we'll marry this card with modern themes, which means connection with people that are different than you, knowing that there's a give and take. So the cups can be filled and emptied, and that wavering balance in a healthy relationship is there. And one is usually taking direction. So there's something about this, Gemini, for you guys, that be okay with a natural give and take in relationships. I understand that when we go through pain and loss, particularly with people, that we can get all these systems around red and green flags and who's investing and who's keeping me safe, and like they never initiate and I'm always the one to clean up the mess. There's no power dynamic here. I want you to know and fully accept that it is a give and take, right? Sometimes people take direction. Sometimes people are the ones that lift you up, but we need this sort of natural fluidity in relationships. It's not going to be a sense of justice all the time. But connection and respect and harmony is a good evolution from justice, isn't it? Or a good complementing factor. So justice says, what's fair for me? What are my actions? How are my actions contributing to a sense of my own balance? How am I providing for myself? How am I showing up for myself? How am I being a fair judge in my own life around what's good for me and what's not? And therefore, how can I take that grounding and that sense of balance into my relationships so they can naturally flow, right? We can only take responsibility for 50% of every relationship because we are only one person out of two. So if your past has you taking 80% of the relationship, the responsibility of it, we have to bring that into balance, into justice. If you're hanging back and only putting in a cool 20% and everybody else has to try so hard to be around you, we have to bring that into balance. So remember, relationships are there for us to find that balance and to work with it. But the responsibility part can only be 50-50. So when there's a problem in the relationship, are you taking sole responsibility for it? Or are you able to sit back and say, well, actually, I can only take responsibility for the things that I've done or not done. That's it. What about that person's inner work? What about their boundaries? What about their communication? What about their actions? I can't take full responsibility because then that would be an uneven place to start that ebb and flow. But I can show up with accountability for my 50%. I can right my wrongs. I can voice my mistakes. I can say, I really should have shown up for you better there. I really shouldn't have reacted like that. I really shouldn't have taken that action. And I'm going to address why. But if someone else's sabotage is making me not feel good enough, and therefore I'm taking responsibility of the fact that I could be doing more, we have an uneven place to start from. So watch for the overgiving, watch for the undergiving, watch for the inability to receive, watch for a lack of accountability and an inability to confront mistakes. All of this is telling us that that justice card needs to come back into alignment. And remember what card is before and what is after, because that's the major arcana card. That's where they're asking us to focus. If everything isn't balanced in your life, go back to what you need to let go of. What do I need to let go of to feel that sense of balance? Then we can move on to bringing that sense of balance and accountability into our relationships so we can have union, harmony, connection. And if that feels too hard or we've lost ourselves again, come back to justice, come back to balance, cause and effect. How are my actions causing a sense of balance and safety and a level playing field in my life? Yeah, that's a real pillar for this month. So get your journals out and have a think about that. Where am I feeling imbalanced and why? How are my actions and behaviors causing that? Take accountability. Can't just blame everybody else. Yeah, we've got to let go of all of that because you're going to go around in cycles. Now, for the shadow card, Gemini, we have Jaguar. Jaguar is a very powerful animal totem to work with, but here's what I see a lot with Jaguar. Power, obviously, but this insatiable instinct and impulsivity. So the way that they hunt is sharp motions, powerful dynamics. They hunt very well. They've got the strongest bite out of all the big cats. They can crush a skull in one go. So when Jaguar comes through, we're being reminded that yes, you're fierce. Yes, you're strong. Yes, you're powerful. Yes, you can have everything that you want. But is that part of your ego defining you? Remember the sense of balance that we want. Remember what it takes to be in a divine relationship of give and take and union and nourishment and support. That Jaguar energy is going to have a lot of trouble there. Jaguars are also fairly solo in the jungle. They don't live in packs. They don't have to worry about dynamics with people. So every part of you that is hyper independent, that says, fuck it, I'll do it all on my own, that says, oh, nobody can really show up for me. They don't know how. Nobody understands me. Nobody sees me. All of that, I want you to bring in to awareness and say, where is the balance here? Who do I need in my life to balance that fiery nature? I know I can do it on my own, but do I actually want to? I know I can prove to people how strong and fierce I can be, but does that serve my sense of balance? We want to tame that Jaguar energy so that there's an inner knowing. We'll take the confidence, we'll take the physical capacity, we'll take the ability to hunt what we want when we want, but we want to do it with awareness and wisdom and patience, particularly when it comes to relationships, right? A nice shadow exercise you can do, I do this with myself all the time, is what is it like for other people to be in a relationship with that? It'd be a little bit difficult, this question, but how does my impulsiveness, how does my maybe it's achievement. How does my, I can do anything that I want whenever I want. How does that feel for other people? And does it make them feel safe and heard and understood? Do I balance other people's nervous systems, or do I make them uncomfortable? Can I actually calm down when I need to? Can I come out of fight and flight and high cortisol? And what does it feel like for other people when I'm in that state? What is it like for other people to be in relationship with me? Take a different perspective. Take the perspective of your loved ones, maybe of a friend, of an ex-partner, and get those reflections from pure empathetic in, right? So don't do it from your ego. Oh, well, they didn't love me anyway. No, it's really look back on it and say, what would it have been like for them? Yeah, take a different perspective and look at yourself from a place that is different to your perspective, right? So put yourself in other people's shoes in that divine empathy place and say, what is it like to be in relationship with me? And if I was my own best friend or my own colleague or my own collaborator or loved one, mother, father, daughter, son, whatever it is, how would I tell myself how to bring in that balance? And you might even be able to ask your loved ones. If you could give me advice on how to be more balanced so I could have better relationships, what would you tell me? And see what they say. Very interesting. All right, Gemini, I love you so much. I hope that helps. Happy March. See you soon. Mwah.